Welcome to another round of Coffee and Donuts where I answer your questions. So, if you don't know who I am, I'm Frank McGaha. I'm a former federal law enforcement officer and now a full-time law enforcement instructor. And here's Coffee and Donuts. You submit the questions, I answer them best of my ability and knowledge. I got 3 great questions pre-submitted. Let's get into it. Okay, so first question. I need an answer quick. If I remember a few things after taking my psych exam, should I disclose it immediately to my investigator? So, not knowing the full context here, I'm going to assume that this is what happened. You were going through your psych exam, and then your psych evaluator managed to get some information out of you that you didn't previously disclose or you just recalled afterwards. And you're worried about your background investigator finding that out, as you should be. Yes, you need to disclose it to them because the psychologist is going to put it in their report, most likely. So the problem that you have here is there's a good chance that they could say that you omitted that and then, it was just later discovered. Unfortunately, it's not favoring you right now, but I do hope that it works really well. And it can. I've seen plenty of people just honestly go ahead and forget something, and then the psychologist or the polygrapher asks something. But unfortunately, so many candidates get caught lying that they tend to lean in that direction. So best bet is to reach out as soon as possible and let them know. But chances are it's going to be in your psychologist's report. So if they find out from them before finding out from you, it's going to look even worse, but still finding out from you, I hope they give you the benefit of the doubt. But keep us posted. I definitely want to know what happened here. And, if it's an honest mistake, hopefully they'll understand that. Next question. Do you have to put down all the police interactions you've had as a child? For example, police were called as a child a lot due to my father's behavior problems. Also, could my family's criminal history get me DQ'd? Yes and yes, and so yes and no, and then yes. So yes and no to this. So yes, you have to put down all police interactions, even interactions as a child. But once again, it's usually interactions where you're the subject of the investigation, not necessarily your father. Now, if you were a witness and you made a statement and your name's on a police report, then probably you should just list it and just do a blanket statement and just say, hey, there was multiple times where law enforcement was called to my house as a child due to issues with my father. And I would just, and unaware of all the specific dates. And that's how I would articulate it, just like that. Right, copy that down. They'll ask you more about and say, well, what kind of issues? And just be honest, be specific, don't elaborate. Just be honest about what a few of what the issues were. Generalize them as much as possible. There was times where my father was inebriated. There was times where it was over a domestic issue, whatever it was. But once they have that, they'll not consider that. What they are looking for is where you were the subject of investigation. They came there looking because you had truancy at school. They came there looking because you were involved in, some type of incident or trespassing or motor vehicle accident or anything like that. You're the subject of the investigation. That's predominantly what they're looking for, and that point is what you really want to cover. Other than that, yeah, if it's for your family members and you were no way, shape involved, then no, that's not what they're looking for. For family members, criminal history, yeah, it's going to look bad, especially if you still reside with them. First and foremost, you can't reside in the house. A firearm can't reside in the house where a convicted felon is typically. Right? So at that point in time, if you're a law enforcement officer and you're sent home with a firearm or you possess a firearm, you technically can't reside in the house where there's a convicted felon. So that's number one, right? They need to move out or you need to move out. I recommend you if they've had established addresses there. Other than that, they're going to look at your criminal history. And, let's say you have individuals that are, in prison or jail and you constantly go see them. That could be used against you, right? Those visitation records, depending on the contact you have. Say you have a family member that's involved in some type of nefarious activity or illegal activity, and you're constantly seeing them or hanging out with them. the individuals you associate yourself with are going to be part of your background. And ultimately, if they can't get you a clearance due to your associations, they can't make you a law enforcement officer. To give you kind of a personal perspective, there was a family member that I completely distanced myself from when I decided to start pursuing government work, where I knew security clearances were involved, because I didn't want that individual to have a negative effect on my profession and ultimately the way I provide for my family. So, a little personal tidbit there. It's not what you want to hear, but yeah, distance yourself from anyone who does not have what a good moral character or a good moral past. Now, if you have a family member that's had some previous criminal history and it's been 20 years from when they were kids, but they've lived a very normal life and are effective members of society now, that's fine. But engaging or communicating with individuals that are still currently engaging in illegal or criminal activity, it's going to fry your security clearance. They won't be able to hire you. Next question. Okay. I am color deficient and was thinking about getting glasses for it. Is this an automatic disqualifier? I'm trying for LASD. I've been binging your videos and you answer every question or worry I had. Thanks. No problem. And I'll answer this one for you too. Usually vision and hearing are two of the big medical exams that take place. Vision is one of the things that's allowed to be correctable. So like hearing, right? I have a hearing deficiency. It's one of the reasons where I knew I wasn't going to be able to stay on the street forever due to it. But ultimately, the vision can usually be corrected. Like if you wear, corrective lenses that get you to 20/20 or 20/40, whatever the standard is. Color deficient, though, is a different thing. They do check for color because you have to be able to identify people. They can't say, hey, individual's wearing a dark green hoodie and blue jeans, and it's hard for you to determine whether or not that suspect matches that description. So, but if it is correctable with glasses and they do allow corrective lenses to work on that, then you should be fine as long as you can pass. But what I would do specifically is I would reach out to that department or reach out to the departments you're interested in and ask them, hey, is this something, if I have corrective lenses and can meet the medical requirements, is this something that will prevent me from getting hired? And they should be able to give you some guidance. The general person might not know, if you call the main branch of the department, but if you get a hold of a recruiter or someone in the hiring process, they'll be able to provide you or at least direct you to some publication that will have that information in it. But I got a feeling if it's correctable, kind of how you worded it, you're good to go. Keep submitting the questions. That's what I'm here for. Okay, if you want your question answered, we answer every question that is submitted over on YouTube or in our new blog off of our website. If you just go over to www.armaganct.com, that's ARMOGANCT.com. Go to the bottom, you'll see our blog. We have a comment section down there. We answer all those comments, and we answer every comment that we can as long as possible over on YouTube. I hope this helps. Stay safe, and I will see you next time.